Uh, what I can say is that I've been focusing on the 400. And we are using 100 meters to sharpen up my speed because this season is more like our recovery season. So we're just playing around that event. That's our run. You'll see me in the 100. Some other time you'll see me in the 400. But yeah, I'm happy for the time. This is what I've been preparing for this past week. I've been sharpening up my start. Like you saw from the start, it was sharp. We did everything, and I would like to thank Coach Shiba for making everything possible. Thank you.
That was Colin Kebinatshipi from Botswana talking about his 9.89 run, well, back-to-back 9.89 runs at the Botswana National Championships on Friday. Of course, that is from a guy who's run 43.5 over 400. One of 4 men to ever run under 10 seconds and under 44 seconds for the 400 meters. We also really going to be talking today about the world record by Kishane Thompson in Florida yesterday, and also the 9.84 from Akeem Blake. Of course, we're talking sprint, so we're talking about one of the men who've done it better than most, Donovan Bailey. Donovan, it was an interesting weekend so far because there's still other events to come characterize on. But let's start with the amazing Botswanian, the world champion in the 400 meters, who just clocked one of the fastest times we've seen, well, in recent years, especially coming from a 400-meter guy, a guy who early March ran 10:53 as a personal best into a minus 2.8 headwind. What do you make of that performance?
Well, dude,
9.89 back-to-back?
I got to tell you this. We've been, we've been talking about it, but certainly I've been noticing it for many, many years. That the Africans are coming, and we know that they're not coming anymore. They're here, and they're getting very, very comfortable. Dude, my issue with the race was this. Number one, he looks like an 800-meter runner. Like that guy looked like Leighton, I gotta tell you, this man looked like he's never ever walked past a weight room. Like not even walked past. Like he has never lifted any weights in his life. And what I'm observing is this. If you're watching the race itself, his first 30 meters, I'm just saying to you, his drive phase out of the blocks look like a power sprinter. You know what I mean? So I always look at any of these competitions and any of these athletes. I always look at them, for me, through my eyes and through my lens, I always look at it technically. So technically, fantastic. For him to be this strong, this early, means that these guys they are preparing to give the biggest ass whooping to anybody that comes to Botswana for the world release. But I got to tell you, Colin looks amazing, dude. 9.89 means that he can go through the 200 meters very easily. 20 point high. So what's he going to run in the quarter? 40.9? Like, what is he going to run? You know what I mean? I'm just saying to you, though, I mean, none of these are really absurd times because you're looking at what he's doing in the 100 meters. And I know that, like, he doesn't look like he's been in the weight room. He doesn't look any stronger. Technically, obviously, I've never seen him run the 100 meters. I did not see the 10.5 that he ran, which was, as you just mentioned, was a personal best. But running 9.89, looking that way, and knowing that he runs the quarter, I want to see what he runs in a deuce. I'd like to see what he comes through in maybe his first quarter. And maybe we're going to see that. Maybe we're going to see that in a relay, which means that if someone is just working on speed and they run 9.9, and they run 9.8, it means that he can certainly give us a 42 split in the quarter this time in a relay.
Mm-hmm. And from a flat perspective, DB, I remember the world record is 43.03. Mm-hmm. He's run 43.53. Which is a Botswana national record as well. When you look at, and you mentioned something that was critical a while ago, given that speed that they're working on, the ease at which he should get to 200, the energy expenditure is going to be significantly less than it used to be.
Correct.
So potentially, are we looking at the possibility of the? I mean, you alluded to it earlier on. You're looking at the possibility of that 43.03 that was set in 2016 being broken sometime within the next year or two.
Well, he looks like he can break the world record based upon what we see in the 100 meters, though. I mean, at the end of the day, he looks. Listen, it was an effortless 989 from a quarter miler, right? Who's not big and strong and powerful. I mean, I'm just saying to you, if you line him up against any of the 100-meter power speed guys right now, he will look like a 1,500-meter runner. He will look that way. Clearly, he's got the speed to match. We're watching the race. We're watching the clock. We're watching all of this, and 989 is quite significant. So yes, to answer your question, if he continues along this path, I mean, it certainly looks like the world record is in jeopardy.
And when you consider that the 989, it was back-to-back 989s.
Correct. Correct.
He ran 989 in the semis and 989 in the finals. It means that his recoveries is also significant to be able to produce those times back-to-back for a non-100-meter sprinter. It's actually quite scary given what we've seen from him. Of course, you mentioned the Botswanans, of course, the Kenyans also engaging in the sprint. They just recently signed an MOU with Jamaica to exchange expertise as it relates to the sprints.
Wow.
And of course, Jamaica benefits from distance running. So yeah,
that's great. I didn't know that. That's amazing. Anyways, yeah, continue.
Yeah, and of course, then the South Africans, they have a bunch of talented sprinters coming through. The Africans are definitely back, and it's going to be very intriguing to see what Colin does at the World Relays, for example, and possibly the Commonwealth Games this year as well. Because if he goes into the Commonwealth Games in this kind of form, because here's the thing that's a caveat to all of this, is that the South African summer, or the African summer, is literally unknown. I mean,
right.
Remember, their season is different. Can he maintain that kind of form until our summer, which is when the Commonwealth Games are going to be held? This is going to be a different thing altogether. But I suppose the cycles will determine that as well, in terms of how he trains.
I think that, one of the things that you've seen over the years is how that, Ferdinand Amanyala, and Tobago, Akeem Sambini, you can see how it is that they have managed. Because yes, I mean, back in the day when I was competing, we would be in South Africa and in Australia this time of year, or early in the season anyway, so we can get really good warm weather training and some competition. But our intent wasn't to run, but our intent at that time of year is definitely not to run world records. So management is very important. I mean, and it seems like they've been doing a good job doing that. They understand the balance. I think that they understand the balance in professional global track and field, because again, sometimes, I mean, even to this day, we still have to educate the public. Their full season is Christmas time, January, February, South Africans, Australians. I mean, that's their full season. And on all the titles that matter in the world of track and field come in our summer and our fall, right? So I think that they have found a way to balance this, because in the rain last year, the Botswanans came and killed the Americans in the rain. So it's something that's, even outside of their own, training cycle. So I think that the management of it is very important. I think that the agents and the people that are planning the competition for a lot of the professional athletes, especially these ones from South Africa, understand one thing. The only thing that matters is titles. And so World Relays is now a thing. It wasn't a thing when it didn't even exist, right?
Yeah.
Right. Well, it didn't. The Commonwealth Games, that's a regional championships, but there's a lot of people that have to reestablish themselves this year, and a lot of people that have to establish themselves this year. So I think the Commonwealth Games is going to be significant, and then of course we have the ultimate championships that
in September,
the IAF is having. So those are the three main championships for everybody now. So I mean, dude, I mean, it's if this man's running 9.8 right now, then he can break the world record. Why not?
Yep. Speaking of world records, Kishane Thompson running at the Miramar Invite yesterday ran 14.92 in the 150. 14.92 for a guy who just came off a personal best 6:45 indoors. DB, we spoke about earlier about him improving his first 60 to improve his 100. Now it seems that the work is now shifting to endurance and maybe other elements of his race here. Of course, a lot of people would be thinking more 200s would be more to his liking, but or more suited, I should say, not to his liking, because I don't think Kishane likes the 200 at all. But 150, his first 150 for the season, running 14.92. You know, are we looking at him finally living up to his own expectations and probably breaking 9.7 this year or next year?
Okay, to your question, listen, I hated the 200 too, right? I hated the 200 just because it was 50 meters or 75 meters longer than I want to go, and that's, dude, and that's what, no, facts, and I felt pain. And so anytime I hear someone like Kishane say, hey, dude, that's a long way to go, hey, kid, I know it for a fact. It's a long way to go. I mean, and you know, I was running at 209 pounds. So I'm like, so it was a long way to go. So, but what I loved about what I saw in the race, Leighton, is this. He was very, very comfortable in the last 15, 20 meters. And what I like about what he's doing is I want him to be I want it to be when he's in the vortex, when he gets out of his drive phase and he gets to top speed, I just want him to be comfortable. I want him to be looking around, smiling, waving to the fans. That's what I want to see. And what happens is when you're doing the 150 and you get to do some really good runs on the speed endurance side, which is really what the 150 is for a 100-meter guy. Yeah, I mean, the 9.7, the 9.6, what we've been waiting for him to run for the last 2 years, the expectations is that he can do that because he just looks strong, man. He looked strong and he looked like he could go. You know what I mean? And also wasn't looking for the line.
Yeah, for real. I saw that it was significant yesterday as well. But give me a sense of the feel of that event, DB. I've never run a 150 in my life. What does it feel like after you hit that 100-meter mark and you're pushing into new territory, especially for a 100 specific guy?
Well, okay, see, so here's the thing. I think that, first of all, for me, running the 200 is hard because you know that lactic acid is going to get you the last 50 meters. You got that, right? Running the 150 for a power speed guy who's used to doing, who has massive top speed in a straight line, it's also very hard because what you're doing is you're putting so much torque in the first 50 meters or first 30 meters off the corner, and then you have to learn to relax coming into the straight. When the straight has always been about power and it's always been about like torque, right? So I think that what I saw and what I did personally was understanding the execution and then understanding the patience that you need to allow the race to come to you, right? And the issue has always been, you know, when I watch Kishane and I'm thinking about his potential, there's several races that I've seen that in the first 30 meters, he's crushing the opponents. But then he gets to top speed and then he gets to like 80 or 90 meters and he's still pressing as opposed to allowing the speed to come to him. So what I liked about it is he's executing properly. He's standing up and he's allowing the race to come to him because that's what the 150 is all about. Because again, no matter what, lactic's going to get you. So if you allow the race to come to you, then you can embrace all of that.
Because just for the viewers' information, the world record on the 150 straight belongs to one Usain St. Leo Bolt, 14:35. Noah Lyles and Tyson Gay share seconds, 14:41 for second and third, respectively. Both have the same time, but I think Noah's time was run into a different wind. I don't remember what it is right now.
Right.
But just to put it into context, because there's the 150 straight and there's the 150 off the curve.
Right.
Two different dynamics altogether.
100%. Correct. Correct.
So let's look at in terms of how this translates to the flat 100 now, DB. How does that translate into him running 100 now for the first time this season, given what we've seen from him 645 and 1492? It doesn't immediately translate on a linear scale to the 100, but what are the factors that contribute to him probably running faster in the 100?
What's translating is his level of comfort, right? The fact is that he ran 6.4 indoors. Well, he ran 6.4 outdoors and then ran 6.4 indoors.
Indoors,
So,
yeah.
so there's a level. So he ran 6.4 outdoors in Jamaica, right?
646.
And then he ran it indoors, which means that there's a consistency and level of comfort that he has. Okay. Also, the fact is that in some of the post interviews I'm seeing, he's saying this is practice, bro. And for me, that's where relaxation comes in, where there's the thought is that you're adjusting to how your body feels coming out the blocks, how your body feels at top speed, relaxation and breathing at top speed. So he's carried that outdoors. Now, if you go from 60 meters and then you go into over distance or speed endurance, and you have that same level of relaxation, that can, I mean, you and I are talking about translation. It can only translate to when you get on the flat. If you can get out with the same, torque, and velocity out of the blocks, and you can relax and allow the race to come to you, the conversions should be 9.6, 9.7. That's what it should be. Am I looking forward to that? Absolutely. Do I want to see it? Absolutely. I mean, so we know we've seen Kishane. We know that obliques haven't opened up yet. And there's several people. Obviously, Kishane is the one that we're talking about right now. But yeah, the translation to what I've seen just from raw speed, which is the 60, to speed endurance to the 150. When it drops back down, he's gonna lay something down on the track that's gonna be really nice.
Let's talk about Akeem Blake, because he also ran pretty fast yesterday, albeit with a slightly over the limit win, the 2.2, 9.84. He's clearly added some muscle. He looks a lot bigger this year than he has in previous years. And his PR is 988 from last year, the national championships. This time yesterday would have probably equated to, at the legal limit at 2 meters per second, it probably would have been about a 987. It's March. Or April, sorry. It's the first couple of weeks, the first week in April. What are you seeing in this kid the potential to finally probably break through the 98 category, the 98 barrier this year, given that we've seen Brand Level show the clear potential to Oblique has done it and Kishane has done it. Is Jamaica on the cusp of getting a fourth 9-7 man, given what we've seen from Akeem so far this season? Run 6.4s outdoors and did well indoors, but he said he was coming off a back injury. And then, of course, opening up in 100 with 9.84 with a 2.2 wind.
Well, if he runs 6.4 indoors, that converts to 9.8 low, 9.7 high, dude. So the answer is absolutely. I mean, absolutely for Akeem. I mean, and I think that his capabilities and his time really has nothing to do with his physical abilities now. I think for me, I think it's mental, or it was mental, right? He was the top 3 guy. He was not only the top 3 in Jamaica, but he was probably the top 5 mentioned in the world only a year or 2 or 3 ago. So obviously he's been replaced now by Brian. And I think that right now he's kind of pulling out the psychological and mental tools out of the box and understand that he has the physical capabilities of doing it. So do I think Akeem is the next guy? Absolutely. I mean, well, there's a couple of things. Again, if you talk about Kishane, Oblique, and if you talk about Brian, we have Akeem, and that's another, we've got, again, the slowest guy is going to run 9.8. The slowest guy is going to run 9.8, which makes a hellified and terrifying 4x1 relay team. But I think definitely Akeem wants to establish himself and get back in, and be and be talked about, or at least expected to be number one, a guaranteed finalist at any major championships, and obviously a viable podium finisher, and also he wants to stick his name in that favored list. Because the other three sprinters we just mentioned from Jamaica, they're the young guys, and they're coming on right now to almost kind of reestablish the dominance of the Jamaican sprint squad that was a few years ago. So again, to answer your question, absolutely, Akeem is in a position right now where he was consistent indoors. I'd expected him to do more at the World Indoor Championships, but I saw it go. I mean, you can't make any mistakes whatsoever at the World Championships. If he's going to open up running 9.8, because it does. Listen, for me, I always look at. Sometimes people talk about windy, and I know that you're a statistician yourself. 9.8. With a 2.2 win is still 9.8. Your body has to adjust to that speed. Obviously, if you're running and there's a hurricane behind you, if it's a 5-point wind behind you, then really someone's just pushing you along. If you're running 9.8 and it's a 2-point win, it simply means that you're prepared. Your body is prepared to run that fast. So yes, I expect him to open up whenever he opens up. Well, he's already opened up, but I'm talking about for real. In the next couple of weeks, I expect that he's going to run 9.8 and in perfect condition, great condition, especially someplace in North America or some of those early European meets. He's going to drop another 9.8. So that's expected at this time of year. So yes, can he run sub 9.8? Absolutely.
All right. David, we've all the time. Thank you so much for joining us as usual. Remember, guys, to subscribe to the channel. We have a wrap coming up for you from the Character Games. And of course, we will have more on the Miramar meet tomorrow night as well. So you can look forward to that as well. But until then, this is Levy saying bye for now on the Mr. Analyst channel. Bye-bye.
Peace out.